Fight World Live, slap fighting, power slap. Let's go for the first time. Let's get into it. Big Jeeves, what an exciting time it is to be alive in the world of slap fighting.
Hell yeah, man. You know, you didn't think it could get more exciting in combat sports, and then boom, curveball. Here comes Power Slap, main stage 2023. And now rolling into 2024, we can just expect banger after banger for this year.
Absolutely. I mean, just around a year now, Power Slap's been created, a $450 million company. Social numbers that are outdoing the MLB, the NFL, the NHL. I mean, it just keeps on going viral, hit after hit, knockout after knockout. Sheena Bathory putting up numbers that are greater than Taylor Swift. What is it with these, these consumers that love seeing women slap each other?
Man, so this was, I said this a lot last year, but it was one of the questions I got every time in my real world life when people talk to me about power slap, talk to me about slap fighting. The number one question always was, when are we going to see a women's fight? And the numbers reflected it. And boy, the fans, they want more.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, my man. I mean, we got invited on here. Like I said, I still can't believe Dave gave us the call. But, we're some of the most crazy motherfuckers that keep on coming back to this week after week. We love it. We're falling in love with the connections that we have with all of these fighters. We're getting to know them personally on an intimate level. And we keep, we think we're putting out good work, and we're just trying to grind hard for the small market that it is. And we hope, by branching out and reaching new audiences that we can continue to build, the sport of slap fighting. There's a lot of haters out there, and I'm sure a lot of people are hating our two faces right now, but we're going to keep on going with it and see where it comes out on the other side. I know we talked about it. We're getting to the end here. Road to the Title season 2, for people that don't know, the reality show for Power Slap wrapping up. They started out 28 guys, 2 rounds, in a reality TV show style format, just like Tough. Yeah. Like, how exciting has it been to get a new influx of talent into the sport?
Man, so for people that don't know, Road to the Title, like Corey, you said, it is the Tough. It's the Ultimate Fighter. It's where we get to make our connections with these fighters. And with them doing it within the first year, they started filming another season. This sport's growth is on a trajectory that we're going to be blown away by the end of 2024. And what this means for the sport, having these guys come in, is that we're going to have more matches. We're going to see more up and down of the ranks, like what we like to see in other combat sports, maybe some more title fights. We've had almost every card last year, but maybe we could have more challengers, more fights, more everything this year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when it started out, the rosters were quite thin. They may have 30, 40 athletes, for Power Slap #1 under contract. That is now blowing up. Upwards of 120 to 140 strikers on their roster. And I mean, for people that don't believe it, like, this is a legitimate business. The sponsorship that this sport has is incredible. They've now moved to the Durango, coming up on February 9th for Power Slap #6. Tickets are available, VIP packages for all. And you know what? I'm telling you right now, the celebrities that are going to be there, that are going to be in attendance as part of Super Bowl weekend. I really love what Dana White is doing in marrying up these events. And some of the biggest sporting events that are taking place in Las Vegas, International Fight Week, had Power Slap at it. Now we've got the Super Bowl. We're going to have Power Slap. I mean, I think it's an incredible way to get this sport out there to the masses as it continues to grow time after time. So let's get into it. I want to talk Power Slap numbers. So let's start off at the top. We got to get into it. All right. We've got KO Chris Thomas and Emmanuel No Love Muniz going down in a welterweight championship match. These guys, Chris Thomas has been off for a little bit with a record of 5-0, taking on the challenger, Emmanuel Muniz, who is coming down from middleweight to be able to fight KO Chris. Obviously, right now, Jeeves, KO Chris has been on a destruction, 5-0, knocking people out. Manny coming down to that welterweight division makes things a lot more interesting. Paint the picture, paint the case why Emmanuel Muniz is deserving of this title shot, and how he can have his keys to success and victory at Power Slap number 6.
Totally, man. Let's just take a look at the kid's resume. He comes from Street Beef's background, born and raised in mean streets of California. He's made for this adversity type thing. Like when you go back, I implore you guys, watch his Street Beef stuff. He's got no quit in him. And the true OGs of this sport that are like have been here since day one, you got the likes of Dorian Perez, you got the likes of Ryan Phillips. They all hail this kid. And if the guys at the top of this sport are seeing something in a guy, you know, I can't argue with their opinions sometimes. And like I said, when you go back and look at this kid's resume, he's here to bang, and this is his opportunity. He's done well all last year. Every time he came on stage, I always said, love seeing Manny, puts on a show, does what he has to do, takes care of business, and now he's earned that title shot.
Yeah, so he's going up against the champion, KO Chris Thomas. Power Slap number 1 takes home that victory. We haven't seen him for a little bit. He's been away trying to get himself together. This opportunity here coming up is definitely going to be the biggest test, you know, going up against Jesus Gaspar, who we haven't seen, you know, after his match with KO Chris. He's kind of gone off the face of this earth, you know, to be honest with you. We're going to see. I mean, is there going to be some rust? We do know that the rules have evolved since KO Chris has last been up there on stage. How is that going to, you know, impact his performance? We do know through the road to the title, you know, season 2, the Athletic Commission already did the coin toss. You know, Emmanuel Muniz is going to be striking first. I personally don't think the coin toss is going to matter as much in round 1 of this fight. Could it play an impact into the accumulation of damage? Potentially. But, you know, the chins on both these guys, you know, Emmanuel Muniz can take it. KO Chris, we haven't really seen. KO did come down from heavyweight when he started in Power Slap. So we know he's dropping weight as well. We haven't really seen him tested. We've seen him, you know, take a strike from Waylon Frost. But at this point, there's nothing that shows me that we should be concerned about KO's Chris's chin at this time. I think that this match gets out of round 1, which was a really cool prop bet that they used to have early on in Power Slap.
Yeah.
They used to be able to bet, would the match get out of round 1 or not?
Yeah.
We haven't seen it the last couple times, but man, I hope they bring back those props, because I'll tell you, you and I love those prop bets like you can't believe.
Totally.
You know,
and
so
this is a 5-round fight. So it's not like you said, if it makes it out of the first, they got plenty of opportunity to go back and forth. And like you always say, Corey, it's the game of attrition. Like you keep pounding on that damage, and eventually that one's going to knock the guy down.
Yeah. And I mean, KO Chris has, you know, a strike that is replicatable, that does damage. He doesn't miss. He's got a very heavy hand. We've seen it time and time again. Yes, he's had some luck, you know, with winning the coin toss, however many times that he has. But it is certainly entertaining. I'm excited. And, you know, and speaking to him, he's actually glad that he doesn't get the strike first, because he wants to actually have his, you know, his chin tested. And he wants to prove to all the naysayers and the haters out there that KO Chris can take it. So it's going to be electrifying. You know, we've seen these guys for the last, you know, 11 weeks so far. You know, we know that they got into a tussle, you know, at the UFC, you know, Performance Institute. These guys got
Speaking
into
of being able to take it.
Yeah. Yes. Chris threw him a little right, you know, the jostling that was kind of going on there. I mean, these guys, and Dana talks about all the time, these guys hate each other. Like, I don't know. I mean, Turpin and Wolverine, I think, also hate each other. But Manny and Chris are almost at that level where they hate each other equally. So I think it's going to be fireworks for everybody involved. You know, it's going to be definitely a match you're not going to want to blink. And, you know, that one there could be extremely exciting. Like I say, on the betting line of what's going to happen at this, we do know, and I think it would be fair to say that the champion should open up as the favorite on that money line. I think you will see it. However, you will see it sway, because KO Chris is an incredibly polarizing figure. You either love him or you hate him. Yeah. And I think you're going to see over time, especially if you're in KO Chris's camp and you think that he is going to retain that title, I would suggest putting money early on KO Chris if you believe so, because that line is going to shrink closer it comes to the event on February 9th. Manny, the California kid, especially when some of those celebrities like Steve will do it and stuff like them, get to Vegas, put money on it. I think you're going to see that line definitely change because, Steve oftentimes puts money on the challenger. We've seen it with the Bell, in his title match. And, there's still not a ton of money being put on this. And so if someone's going in and throwing 10K down, it can sway these lines quite a bit. With not that big of nominal amount, but it's great to see. I mean, we know Rubats is obviously coming on board. Stake as well is coming on board. There's a number of different outlets that you depending on your jurisdiction, that you could also bet on Power Slap. And for everyone who's got ADD, why would you not want to put down even just a micro bet on a match that lasts no more than 3 minutes? And
you'll know real quick.
100%. Let's talk about it, Jeeves. I'll let you lead this combo, but let's talk about the co-main event.
Let's do it, man. The short wait, we didn't have to wait too long to see Sheena step back up again. This time they're bringing her somebody from another very popular MMA promotion, PFL, and she's a champ in her own right. Once this fight was announced by Frank a couple weeks ago, I had a chance to go watch back some of her content, and this chick's an animal, bro. So I think this is a great match for Sheena. Frank confirmed during our live last week that they will be fighting at 155. And I think this benefits someone like Sheena, who just naturally holds a little bit more muscle mass. She's played around with wellness competitions and stuff. So she's gone out of her way to put that mass on. And we saw at the last Power Slap, it is hard to come down for someone who naturally carries that. So at 155, I think we see a beast of a Sheena. And to see Jackie step up to someone like Sheena and be willing to take that after the last show, hats off to her. I can't wait to see this match.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie, a former PFL fighter, it's going to be the biggest test truly for Sheena Bathory to date. Sheena Bathory, for people that don't know, coming from, Eastern European roots, from a family of judo champions, a judo champion in her own right, coming here, seemingly destroying everything and everybody in her path as she gets together here in Power Slap. And, a true superstar in the making. She's, she's played around with everything from, powerlifting to bodybuilding to pro wrestling. She's got a personality that is, as big as the stadium that she's in. The fans love to see her, and she's got a great personality to go with it. This could steal the show. In a lot of ways, as much as KO Chris and Manny, has a 20 or 30% chance that it could be a dud. But I think that this matchup is almost a guarantee that it's going to be fireworks. And we're going to see it go the distance. I mean, Sheena's been destroying everybody throughout this entire time. And I think we're going to see this go a couple rounds. We're going to see her, really get pushed, with this. And so hopefully this is the start, of the growth of the women's division. Hopefully we start seeing more women's matches as well coming up on, subsequent cards. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't every single women's match involved Sheena Bathory up until this point?
Yeah. Sheena was so hungry at one point, Fight World Live, that she was ready to fight anybody on the men's roster. She just wanted competitors so bad. So if there's women out there that are seeing Sheena, watching her blow up on social media, sign up, man. The Power Slap women's, the fans are just rabid for this. So I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two events are going to be fireworks. We do know some of the other events. I mean, as crazy as this will sound to some of the people from the MMA world, Frank Lemicelli joins in on the chats on Rumble when it is taking part as part of the preview. You've got the president of Power Slap in the comment section talking to the fans, taking heat. I mean, like nobody else that I've seen.
Too.
It's actually really him. And we've been able to verify that. It's actually him in there and, dropping some of these fights for us week after week. So real excited to do it. Let's talk about what is going to be another banger. We have
Big
Ryan
dogs.
Phillips, the King of Kings, going up against the Buffalo Soldier, Nate Bernard.
Yeah.
Number 1 contender going up against number 4, Ryan Phillips.
Mhm.
I'm going to talk about this one from Ryan Phillips' standpoint. Okay.
Go for
Ryan
it.
Phillips, OG, potentially, him and the Wolf could be one of the most historic fights ever in Power Slap history that went down on the road to the title. First episode of the first series, still a legendary matchup until this day. Tore his bicep during the show, had to, take some time off, became a coach, became an advocate. You want to see anyone who studied, the sport of slap fighting any more than Ryan Phillips, and you're not going to find it. He is a true technician when it comes to it. He comes back and takes on the legend that is Darius the Destroyer, and is able to pull out that victory this past fall, setting him up to go up against the number 1 contender, Nate Bernard. Let's look at it. Ryan Phillips, on the surface, doesn't have the same genetic makeup, doesn't have the muscle mass, doesn't have the overall structure and length that Nate Bernard has. Ryan Phillips' key to victory in this match is he is going to have to outgame Nate Bernard. And some of you guys be like, what? There's gamesmanship in slap fighting? What do you mean? Ryan Phillips is going to have to psychologically get into Nate Bernard's head. Yep. He is going to have to do something different to make up for that genetic deficit that he has. And you know what? The King of Kings, awesome guy. I think, I would say this to his face, and I think he would agree with me. He is going to have to outsmart Nate. Nate is still that young dog. He's coming in, doesn't have as much experience. Ryan Phillips has the experience. So we're going to see how this match unfolds. And Ryan Phillips has a chin. We know he's not going to sleep, so he's going to have to out-tactic, his way, whether it be on the defense or the offense, whether he's changing up his timing, changing up, the speed of the slap that he's doing. And on the defensive side, can he position his chin? Can he get that rollout? Because we know Nate hits incredibly hard. Can he bait Nate into clubbing or into stepping? That emotional side, we know Ryan, when he's up there, he is animated. Can he get under the skin? Because, it's easy to have a game plan until you get hit in the face. Ryan talks a lot of trash between rounds. Can he get under Nate's skin in order to be able to pull out a victory? That's what I think he has to do to happen. I want you to give me the case of what Nate Bernard needs to do on the flip side to win this.
Man, let's be real with Nate. I don't think we can call him the new guy anymore. Every match he's had on a numbered card that's been on air, he's gone up against some real OGs, man. Like, we saw his fight with Dwayne. We saw him take Dwayne swaps, and Dwayne is arguably one of the best heavyweights this sport has ever seen when it comes to fight IQ, technique, strength, just the total package. So getting hit by Dwayne, we saw that Nate could actually take slaps from these bigger guys. Now, that end of that match, a little bit controversial in some fans' opinions and stuff like that. And so I think this match means a lot for Nate. And if, Corey, you're saying this about Ryan having to get into Nate's head a little bit, that could be dangerous, because I think Nate knows how much this means. Being the number 1 contender, being put up against number 4, and another great heavyweight in the sport, like you said, one of the most electrifying matches we've ever seen with him and One-Eyed Wolf. I think this means a lot for Nate. I hope he's training for it in that sense, because if he can make it through to the end and actually give us a definitive end to this match, it's going to mean so much for his stock and his future going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Nate Bernard coming off a loss against Damien DeBell, going up against Ryan Phillips is really going to be that turning point. I think it's going to be, this is really something that the fans can look forward to. This matchup here, has fight of the night potential all over it. From an entertainment standpoint, from an athleticism standpoint, I think this one could be right up there, through and through. I don't know where these guys are at. I mean, I think there's some animosity between them. I personally don't think they like each other. Just whether it's new school versus old school, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely going to be one that I am personally going to stay away from on the betting line. I don't want to get in on this one at all, to be honest with you. And what we've kind of seen through the first 5 events of Power Slap, doesn't make a lot of sense to try and spray the entire card and try and hit, because we are seeing a ton of upsets and uncertainty. And so I think you're better off to pick the situations where you feel most comfortable with. If you can get some, a little bit of juice on the line, put all your money down. Me personally, staying away from this one. King Ryan Phillips versus Nate Bernard. Not going to touch it on the betting line, but you're certainly going to want to tune in and watch it. Let's keep on rolling. We've got one other match that's been confirmed for sure. Let's go, Big Jeeves.
Hey, we got our lightweight matchup, the return of Robert Trujillo. We've seen him come and go. He's had some matches here and there. Not too many guys in his weight division, but we did get Dallas Moran. We saw him, I believe it was at Power Slap 4. He was supposed to compete, didn't get a chance to. I'm glad he's able to come back on a card like this with Robert. What can we say about Robert Trujillo, man? He's taking care of business every single time. And I know, like, I don't know how much Fight World Live has followed along, but after the last showing at Power Slap, I know Robert was rearing to come back and actually have a real match against a competitor that's willing to go the distance with him. And El Tigre, this is a big look for you, my boy. They're giving you the guy who has never lost. So I'm excited for this one, man. I'm glad it's on the card. Shout out Frank, shout out Erica for making this one happen, because not only do we get to see Robert again, but we get to see what Dallas is made of.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Trujillo, honestly, at 155, has destroyed everybody in his path. Short, tall, he shows up. He's able to, ball out. I still remember right back to when he fought Jules Scott, the first time around, Power Slap number 1. First time I've ever seen. First match of the night. First time I ever seen someone get slapped.
Yeah.
And hearing that strike by Robert Trujillo, it was like a gunshot going off, because it was dead silent in the arena, and it was electrifying. Robert Trujillo is an MMA fighter, professional MMA fighter that has been making his way through. He has aspirations of one day getting into the UFC, but right now what is at hand for him is Power Slap, and he's doing it incredibly well. Could this be an opportunity for him to get in the UFC? Potentially. Dana White and Frank have kind of shut that down for now. But if there was a 155 title introduced into Power Slap, we know that Robert Trujillo would be in it. Robert Trujillo, is a very strong, formative competitor. Dallas Moran, we've seen one match from him, 0-1. We know he's got a DJ career going on. He's got some love from Shaq. We haven't seen too much from him in Power Slap. We know that he's been working. We know that he's been at this for at least 6+ months. The first time we were supposed to see him was actually up against Zach Zane. However, he wasn't able to make weight in that match. So he got into the system, and I know he's been focused in training. This one here for Dallas is going to be incredibly tough. He's going to have to take that strike by Robert Trujillo. We haven't seen too much from Dallas yet. It's hard to say. But if in the betting world, if you can get pretty close to being a guarantee lock, I think Robert Trujillo is the one.
Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't think you were gonna go that far, but hell yeah, I would go.
Hey man, we got Fight World Live. We got to go that far. We got to go that far. Fight World Live, the lock guarantee. Robert Trujillo. Put your money on it. You will not be disappointed.
100%. 100%. That's a great call.
Yeah. All right, man. So right now, in this point in time, as the show took place, the athletes that continue to go through, round 1, round 2, punch their ticket to Power Slap number 6, taking place February 9th, if we haven't talked about it already, at the Durango. The first time we're going to have a live audience for Power Slap. Let's go through it, man. Let's see who has punched their cards. Let's talk about them a little bit and what we can expect from them. The fights haven't been announced, so we don't know who they're going up against, but we do know what they are, planning to do from what they've released already is they are going to take some guys from the first, reality series and peg them up against the new guys from the second series to really see where they go. And honestly, they're getting top 5 matchups. This is going to be a make it or break it card for these guys. They're not giving them fluffer, opponents to start. This is going to be real business. So let's start. Zach Zane this past weekend, we just seen him take care of Chris Debo. Moving on in the welterweight division at the live event, let's talk about Zach Zane.
Yeah, man. Zach Zane, been around for a long time, finally worked his way onto a numbered card. There's a few competitors that he could go for. Like you said, Corey, the thought process seems to be the OGs versus the new guys. Mm-hmm. And this is interesting because I've always said this, man, there's levels to this. So putting them, like, it's a great test for some of these new guys. And someone like Zach Zane, Alan Klingbeil would be a great fight for him coming in. Yeah.
No,
Alan Klingbeil.
No. I said it before. I think Cole Young is a great matchup for Zach Zane. That's who I think is there. Anthony Blackburn, tough competitor as well. And, maybe even a Waylon Frost kind of in that 3 through 5 is where I think his skill set will kind of set in. Zach Zane potentially going to go down 155. We know he's got a great career. He's had a, past career fighting MMA over in Japan and stuff like that. So the guy's been battle tested, over 30 fights in his career. So
he can take a hit, that's for sure.
His grit and determination for sure. So, so Zach kind of came out of the welterweights from the show. So let's move on to middleweight. We got Garrett Grimes coming out of the show at middle. And then we also have Brandon Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Could they peg these guys together, or do we think they're going in different directions?
These were two of the savages from the show. So if they did put them against each other, bro, I think, that fight would be unreal to see. Garrett Grimes, tons of energy, tons of strength. And then Brandon Bordeaux, just a technician when it comes to this shit. He's dedicated everything he has to that. I don't even want to think about like the outcome of that one, because dude, that match would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys seemingly, I think, could fit into the top 5, top 6 in the rankings.
Yes.
In the middleweight division. I think right now, there's a bit of a lackluster in the middleweight division. John Davis has held that reign at the top, all the way back to Power Slap #1, and they're certainly starving for a new contender to come up there. And Garrett Grimes, Brandon Bordeaux, could be one of these guys that we see get a title shot here in relatively short order. Maybe even as soon as Power Slap #7 potentially, because I think John should be back there pretty soon. So super exciting. Light heavyweight. Who do we got at light heavy? Who do we know at light heavy? Garrett Blakesley,
Greenhall. Greenhall's heavy.
And Greenhall. We have those two competitors. Greenhall was the heavy though.
Greenhall's heavy. Yeah, sorry, I corrected myself.
Greenhall's the heavy. So that's who. Yeah, so we've got one right now, and that's Garrett Blakesley, a kid from Ohio. Not a ton of fight experience, but he was able to come in and take care of business. At light heavyweight, probably has more of a middleweight frame to him, but he kind of has that farm boy strength. Football player from Ohio. Good opportunity. Got really good length to him. So wherever he kind of goes in that light heavyweight division, it's just so deep. Like, in all honesty, that light heavyweight division is filled with killers.
There's so many guys that could potentially go against Garrett that we haven't seen as much. You know what I mean? Like, we got the top 4, the Statics, the Rons, the Terps, but under 5, like even guys like on the rankings still, like Isaiah, that. There's a lot of guys that we could see Garrett go against and get a really, really good match for Power Slap 6.
Yeah. We know Delvin Helmut, who competed at heavyweight for the show. We know he has aspirations to drop down the light heavy. I'd actually love to see that Garrett and Delvin go against each other. That would be an electrifying match, to be honest with you. And then we'll be able to see who the real 205er is coming out of that show for sure. So could be some great fireworks there. But the heavyweight side, I mean, we had a couple guys there who we liked in the heavyweights. Obviously, Logan Greenhall is being that superstar that keeps on coming out time and time again, just delivering, coming out of Guerrilla Smack Systems, headed up by TJ Thomas. Let's talk about him a little bit, man, and his makeup and his demeanor.
Yeah, man. I see Logan taking a similar ride as sort of like Nate did, because the guys in the heavyweight division, they are so established. So any match that Logan gets, it's going to be a big one for him. And I'm going to say it again, there's levels to this. So whoever he gets, like whether it be a Dorian Perez, we know Ryan's already up. So like a Dorian Perez or a Dwayne Crespo, I don't think he gets the title yet, but like, okay, let's look at that. Dorian and Dwayne, those are both OGs in this game that have some big, heavy hands and know this sport really, really well after having competed all last year. So if it's one of those two, best of luck to Logan. He has tape to watch with the other guy, the other competitors of the heavyweights, to see what he's in for. And it'll be a banger either way, because Logan's a great competitor himself.
100%. The other guy coming out of that, though, is Brian Ellis.
Yes.
Brian Ellis was a heavy. He went up to super. Yeah, I mean, just amazing. Brian Ellis, like I say, if he can go back down to heavyweight, we'll definitely do some damage for sure. Other than that, the super heavyweights, which I know you guys in UFC don't have the supers, but we're loving it here in Power Slap. We still have two guys. We got McKinney Manu, and we got Danny Van Heerden from South Africa. They pin these two guys together against each other.
It would be quite the mismatch. McKinney is on the more compact side of super heavyweight. I don't know how that's going to affect him moving forward. We saw it in his first match. You know, the reach was a thing for him. These guys are bigger gentlemen, so they're a little bit further away from the table. But on the flip side of that coin, Danny Van Heerden, man, what a bear. Like, that dude's made for super heavyweight slapping, man. Just power, technique, and intensity, energy. It's exactly what we want to see at the table, especially in super heavyweight. We want to see those big hands. Let's be real, Corey. When we heard super heavy was coming, we were excited because we wanted to see some big hands, and Danny and McKinney are both bringing those. So I can't wait to see these dudes in the league, man.
Totally. I think it makes perfect sense. Pair up McKinney versus Van Heerden. Yeah. I actually think the winner of it actually could get the Crazy Hawaiian for a title match. I actually think the skill set of both these guys could potentially be up there. I think they're both, they're both top 5 guys at this moment. Yeah. And I think there's no reason for, the victor of that to come out. If they want to fast track some of these guys, I think we'll see the first title potential come out of the super heavy. I think that's probably the cleanest. I don't want to say the easiest, but I think it's the cleanest path to a title shot. And, we know the Crazy Hawaiian has been doing this, as long as anybody. The injuries are racking up, the shoulder, the elbow. He's getting up there in age. He's not getting any younger. So we don't know how much longer he's going to be doing this. We've seen him switch hands multiple times mid-match because he hurts his wrist, on the right, has to go to the left. So we'll see these young bucks coming in that don't have as many miles on them, that are still fresher. Can they push them? Can they push him for that limit one day for a chance at his title? I think it definitely could happen. But all in all, man, let's talk about it. Let's lay down that framework, okay? You and I, both degenerates in our own rights. We love Power Slap. We love gambling. How much better could it get?
Yeah.
February 9th is going to come around, Super Bowl weekend, UFC doing an incredible job. Power Slap the Friday, come back, watch us on the Saturday for the UFC. Then you can watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. No problem. Just a casual weekend in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You and I are going to be there. We're going to be live in center of it all. We're going to be taking in all the festivities. Luckily for you and I, we don't drink, so we're going to have our head on straight and be able to, make sure we're doing good quality work. But Power Slap, coming on February 9th, like we said, the Friday.
Yeah.
This card is, sneaking up on us to be one of the most solid cards, top to bottom, I think.
Yeah.
That could almost rival Power Slap number 1. It's always going to hold something unique and special, I think, in our hearts, Power Slap number 1, because it was the first.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, the talent on this card is going to be incredible. Could be top to bottom, the best card that they put out yet, I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's like you said, Super Bowl weekend. There's UFC that weekend as well. I know me, I'm parlaying the whole weekend. We're going to have a little bit of action for every event through the weekend. So, but this Power Slap is exciting, bro. It's everyone, we always go into that with that energy. Like, this is super exciting. But like you said, the talent, the adversity, the new guys versus old guys, this whole thing that they have going into Power Slap, it almost feels like, how else would you start the year? How else would you start the season for 2024 other than this massive card right here?
Absolutely. We know, speaking of Frank Lemuselli, there's going to be 6 events minimum this year. They're started off fresh. They're started off strong. I tell you, we're super excited, my man. All right, let's sign off. Let's get going. Keep on watching Fight World Live, bringing you a mashup of all the sports you know and love. And even if you don't know some of them, tune in because you might just become a fan. We're out.